Chase, who made a donation here via Venmo. He comments, haven't seen many quarterbacks pass the ball, then block for their receivers. Proud moment for Sully. Played a great game. And would absolutely agree with that. Quite a play. And those are the types of plays you want a gamer quarterback to make. And it kind of got that crowd rejuvenated. I thought it got the sideline, the Iowa sideline, looked refreshed. And like I said, with playing yourself out of contention for some of your bigger goals this season, felt like they needed to pick me up. And a quarterback change, in my mind, was the quickest way to get that pick me up. Obviously, winning big helps, but still, getting the quarterback change, then the big win, is a real pick me up. Brendan Sullivan, 9-14, 79 yards, 8 carries for 41 rushing yards. Solid, efficient, and multi-dimensional, and that's what Iowa needs. Cade McNamara finished his day 7-13, 73 yards and a pick. Now, he didn't play very much, right? But they're actually throwing the ball a lot. If you think about it, he threw 13 balls in the first, less than 18 minutes of game time. That's interesting. They actually threw on a couple of first downs on, I believe, first drive of the game and then the second drive of the game. The initial play of each drive, they threw on first down. One of them was a play action. First one might have been play action. But I thought it was interesting. Tim Lester, a little bit less predictable on first downs, at least early. And we'll see how things change with a full week to prepare with Brendan Sullivan and a Wisconsin defense that's even better than what we saw that Wildcats team today.
Cade, when he threw the almost interception and he got the flag, or he got the roughing the passer call,
yes.
The thing that came to my mind as I was thinking about that ball floating up there in the air and wobbling around, I thought, it is the opening of pheasant season today in Iowa, and that maybe looked like a rooster flushing up there as it was.
Is it really the opening?
Yes, it's opening day of pheasant season in the state of Iowa today. So anyway, that just came to mind. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
That thing, the way that came off his hand,
it was bad.
He looked like he got hit, but he didn't get hit. He got hit after the throw.
Yeah, it was horrendous. There's no doubt about it. I also thought that the actual interception that Cade threw for the pick six, he forced the ball. That was not a good decision. I also agreed with the other people is the throw to Anderson for the long game. I agree with I don't know who said it earlier. If that ball had been dropped in, that could have been a touchdown.
The only thing I would say is if Cade hits him in rhythm and it hits him in stride, that's a touchdown. Is that fair?
Yeah, had to leave his feet to catch it. He couldn't just run under it, as I recall. It was a diving catch, right?
Yes, and then Cade followed it up with another, I'd say, poor throw in the end zone where Seth had to lay out again, nearly got his toe down, but did not. Iowa ends up settling for a field goal. And that kind of summed up Cade's first quarter, I thought. The plays were there to be made, but he just made some poor decisions and really bad interception. The interception that got taken away by the phantom roughing the passer, I thought it was a bad roughing the passer call. I thought Anthony Herron felt the same way on the Big Ten Network broadcast, Don, because the call was roughing. It wasn't. It was not differentiated that he drove the quarterback into the turf. It was just roughing, which would give the impression that it's a late hit on the quarterback.
Tell me this, Corey. Was the ball out of his hands before contact was made?
Yes.
If so, it was a horrible throw, of course.
Listen, I need you to go back and watch those plays because I'm telling you this, on both of his interceptions, he was only credited with one interception because the one was brought back. Don, neither one of those plays was Cade using laces. And I say that not because, we haven't made a big deal of that on here. We've talked about the laces thing, but on that first play, that first interception, which was taken back due to the roughing the passer penalty, you can clearly see as Cade throws, the ball just slipped out of his hands. The ball just slipped out of his hands and went, I don't know how far up in the air. and you knew it was going to be picked. But it sure looked to me like that was somebody that didn't have control of the football with his hands because he was not using the laces. I mean, I know he's been doing this apparently for a long time, and we just recently noticed, but is this laces thing? Should we be talking more about that with Cade?
Well, there are some guys that do throw without the laces, but and I don't know what the numbers say, but my best guess is most quarterbacks find the laces and throw with their fingers across the laces. I think that's what most quarterbacks do.
What percentage of the quarterbacks that you coached threw without laces? How many?
I don't know, maybe 100%. Oh, I'm sorry, you said without. Zero.
Yeah, without. So you had no quarterbacks that you can recall that made it a habit of throwing without the laces. I'm not talking about a quick boom, boom, like quick throw where you don't need to have the laces, but he's routinely doing this, Don.
Well, we were more in the center back in those days. And, of course, the center puts the ball up so that it is in position for the quarterback to have his throwing hand with his fingers across the laces. But even in the gun, quarterbacks that I coached, there were a few throws, as you mentioned, catch throw. Obviously, you don't have time to find the laces. Catch throw, you practice it.
Right. Absolutely.
These are simple high percentage throws where the ball has to come out right now. And in that regard, it wasn't much of an issue. But in general, quarterbacks that I coached found the laces. Even if they were in the gun or in the pistol, they found the laces. As they were surveying the field, they found the laces. They just, without thinking, just spin the ball so that it's in the right position.
Sort of like a lot of basketball players, three-point shooters, they find, I don't even know what you call them. I've been playing basketball my whole life.
Seam of the ball, I guess.
They find the seams of the basketball oftentimes, not always, but you go back and watch that play, Don. It was not a hit that caused the erroneous throw. The ball just slipped out of his hand as he's trying to throw. And then how about the second interception for Cade? It probably wasn't a good decision to throw it to Lachey, but on top of it, he threw it to the wrong side. He threw it. The placement of his throw was poor.
Well, you've heard me talk about never ever telegraphing your throw. He stared Lachey down. He threw the ball late where he threw it, and of course, not entirely accurate. And the defender had obviously anticipated the throw too, and made a nice play on the ball. No better play than what Shorty made against Northwestern, of course. And the sad part of that one, of course, it went to the house. It went 75 yards or whatnot.
I'm just curious to see, is that Cade McNamara's probably not his last snap in an Iowa uniform, but if it is, that could possibly be his last snap of football in his career, because I don't know if that's true, but
Don, you want to address that, Don? Do you think we'll see Cade again?
I don't know.
I think we will. I think at some point we'll see him again. I don't think it's his last play.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing I've told Brendan in recent weeks when I've run into him a couple of times, and I've always reminded him, keep getting yourself ready because the opportunity is going to come. And you owe that to the team, of course, to be ready. Your mindset has to be that you're one play away. Even if they switch positions on the depth chart, I would tell Cade the same exact thing. Cade, you're one play away from having to make a difference in this game. And if Brendan was 1 and Cade was 2, I would tell him, you better be ready. You owe that to the team. You owe that to the program. And that's an opportunity, of course, that you can benefit in a huge way too from, is to win back the job. There's nothing that says that the backup can't perform better than the starter at any position. And the key is to be ready when that opportunity presents itself.